Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. We are in Crafter's Classroom and this was pre-recorded on Thursday, so if you're watching right now you are watching me record it, but otherwise this is going to air in Crafter's Classroom on Saturday at 9:45 Central Time. So if you're watching this, I am at a wedding. If you're watching this on Saturday, I'm at my daughter's wedding, so I will not be on to answer questions. Sorry. If you do have any questions that I don't cover or you're missing any pieces, please email me, which would be Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at thepapercut.com. So we are doing our Autumn Card Craftalong today. And let's see, I forgot to make sure we had sound. I see video, so let's check sound. Oh, yep. So yes, and I'm here by myself. My mom will be on in a little bit. She's getting her hair cut, but otherwise right now I'm here by myself and I'm trying to look at messages. So if you do have any questions, let me know. I will try to answer them. I won't be typing them in because I'm just reading them and I'm going to be making cards. So anyways, let's get down to it. So let's go down to the table. If you're just tuning in, it is Thursday night. However, we're doing a recording for Crafter's Classroom for Saturday. So we're making our craft along. So you're not late because I'm actually doing this early. Let's go down to the table. Okay, so here we go. So we are doing this Autumn Card Craftalong. We're making 5 cards. When you ordered the kit, you had the option of buying the stamp set or the stamp and the die set. So I did, like, you will need, like for this one, you'll need some leaf stamps, you'll need some word stamps. I did pre-do a few things and we'll talk about that during the craft along. But I'm gonna set this aside and we're just gonna get right on to it. So we're gonna start, I think, with these two, which they are both in the same kit. So we're going to start with these two. And in the kit, you have enough to make both cards. So let's open that up. So, hi Kathleen, hi Wendy, hi Virginia, Mona. You guys all came back with me, yay. So in this kit, there are 2 card bases. So there's 1 card base for each card is in this kit. I just put them together just because you're using this leave and this cutout. So this is a new overlay for us, which is not posted online yet. I will get it posted. It's available in the 25 count cream, but there's also a kind of a fall color variety pack. For the first card, which we'll kind of work on them at the same time, but we'll kind of just do our brush blending. So we're not going to brush blend on this. We're going to brush blend on this piece that actually sits behind here. Then we're also going to brush blend on the leaves. So we'll do the brush blending all together. So I'm going to set this piece aside just so I don't get any ink on it. For layers, like you can see, this one has this layer. And this big layer I didn't actually end up using. You certainly can on this card. You could layer that whole panel where I just did cream on cream. I used the orange to back my words. And then we have our words. So let's put all of this layering stuff aside and let's just do our brush blending to start with. And I already have, let's see, I think there's 2 autumn stamps in there, but anyways, let's do our brush blending first. And then I do have a brown ink pad out and a word stamp, and there's Charlie. So I do like this cranberry. It's a nice deeper kind of red that I do like. So even though they're all discontinued, I usually start off with a nice bright yellow. So that's what I'm going to start with. And again, I'm going to brush blend on the leaf. And I'm going to brush blend most of it yellow. and then I'm going to just hit some areas with the orange and the cranberry. And then on this piece, I am going to brush blend a lot of it yellow and then hit it with an orange and a red also. So I do like when I have a big brush that I can do my yellows with. So let's see, pull this out. So if you're just tuning in, I am early for this. This will be airing on Saturday. So don't think that you're tuning in and you missed something. You're just catching the recording. I just didn't want to record talking to myself. So I'm recording right after my normal Thursday night thing. And again, I'm just brush blending the leaf and also this piece because we kind of have two cards in one going on here. And it looks like my yellow pad had a little bit of orange on it because these were used for our in-person warehouse sale. So sometimes they get a little mucky, or else it's the brush. But it's still a good yellow. It's a goldenrod. Okay, so sometimes I keep my yellow out because if I get too much of another color on top, then I will do a little bit more yellow right over the top to just brighten it up a little bit. And you can use, either a brighter orange. Otherwise, I did have another set of oranges here, but since I moved my computer, it's kind of over in my space. It's taking up more space than normal, so I can't find I did have a little set like this that had like a deeper orange. Oh, there it is. It's underneath my computer. Okay, so I might pull that out. But I think oranges are hard. I have a hard time with oranges, getting a nice bright orange. I do like my big ones. I usually do start off. On here it doesn't matter too much. I just don't like if I do that, I don't like these stark lines like that. So that's why I usually will start off a little bit. But yeah, I think my bigger brushes cover I like that when I'm doing a bigger area like this. And, if you kind of want to see what you're doing, you could take your leaf die cut and just kind of lay it. Now, see, I've got a lot of stuff near the outside and I don't have as much near the middle, so maybe now I need to know that I need to bring that color in a little bit. Now I'm going to pull in my red a little bit. I do kind of, when I brush blend, I do kind of manhandle my brushes. I push down pretty hard so I can pick up a good amount of ink. All right, now I'm going to just get my cranberry out. Again, start off to the side. I do like my cranberry, or you could use a red. Oh, I also had this one here too. I was also messing around with my Memento. But the leaves are changing colors nice up here. How many of you have a whole bunch of Adirondack pads that are now discontinued? Ooh, IO has their pads. Jill just said IO has their pads at a big discount right now. Unfortunately, they're going out of business, but it's a good time if you want to pick up. They have a whole line of ink pads, and they have them in different shades. So, there's the orange and then the peach, and I think this is the darkest orange. They do have a terracotta, though, too. So they have them in groups of 3 or 4 also. So it's really nice. I do like when I'm brush blending to be on a bigger pad versus I think it's hard to pick up off the little ones. I do it if I want, you know, that shade. So yeah, if I want to brighten something up, I can add a little bit of more yellow on top. So now I can pull my thing over there, and I can just see, does that have the colors that I want? Yep, it does. And we're going to use these again, so I'm going to leave them right out by me. So now I did use my VersaFine Clair. I used the same word. So this word is on this stamp set. Or there's this one that says autumn is the spring. So either one. And I kind of wanted my autumn to kind of be, oops, I almost dropped it. I wanted you to be able to read the word autumn. So I did put that one strategically where it was readable. And then I'm just going to fill in. Because this stamp set, this is kind of nice. They didn't plan it this way. But there's a little like indent right here. And then it goes over on the other side. So you can just kind of like tap that one in there. And if you don't have to fill the whole leaf if you don't want to. But I did. And then you're also going to do the same thing on here. So, you know, don't stamp it through the leaf, but just kind of look at it for placement and your colors. Now on this one, I did do the whole thing, or close to the whole thing. And I kind of did it in a row where I could kind of squeeze them together, you know, as much as possible. Because they don't technically go together, but I just am trying to make, you know, you might have a big script word that says nothing about autumn. It just might be a script background, and you could certainly use that. That would be perfectly fine too. And I used my clear block so then I could, you know, see that I'm not stamping the words all on top of each other. So I'm going to keep that out. I don't know if, I think we used the brown, but I don't know if I used that same word. So anyways, let's go on to assembly of this one. So Linda just commented about the Adirondacks. The cover comes off. So these do come off. They're not quite as convenient as like the Impression Obsession ones that the cover fully comes off, but so anyways, no, I just worry that I'm gonna like get ink prints everywhere with my fingers. Brush blending, I tend to get ink on my fingers. So now you can kind of look at this. If you want the word autumn in the middle, you know, you can strategically place it, but then depending on where this falls, you might have to cut a little bit off right there. And you can just take it off with the scissors if you want. If you don't want to strategically place your words, that's fine too. So now I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of here, and then I am just going to take this and kind of pick that up, you know, tap it down so I can kind of pick it up and place it where I want to. Whoops. And if you want your leaf going the other way, you certainly can do that. Just be careful if you're working on a surface that has ink on it and the ink is wet, because you don't want to get it on the front of your leaf. So these cards, I mean, these are a cleaner look, kind of a clean and simple look, but we are doing brush blending, so technically not clean and simple. Maybe simple but not clean, because you know, you get dirty fingers, but whatever. This I am going to attach right to our Mai Tai layer. I'm going to bring my card base over here. So I'll attach that to my Mai Tai layer, and then I'll attach my Mai Tai layer to the card front. Although before I do that, I might want to trim our strip right here, because then we can trim the width of it. Or not the width. Well, we're going to trim the width, but then we can also trim the length. So before I put it on there and attach it, let's go ahead and trim. I'm going to set this one off to the side. Let's go ahead and trim just a little tiny bit that we're going to use for our strip. So that's going to go there. There's our sample card. I'm trimming one that's about 1/4 of an inch. You can do whatever width you want to do, because that still leaves plenty of room for your word layer. So I'm going to leave my trimmer right out here, because we're going to be using it to trim our words. But now I can put adhesive on our strip. And I'm probably going a little bit faster than I normally would. And if I am, just go ahead and stop me, and then, pause me, and then restart me. So yeah, you don't have to keep up with the pace that I'm going, especially because I feel like I am going a little bit faster. I've got to get home tonight and get packed, and I actually have to sew some pants for the grandbaby, because he's going to be the ring bearer. Not the baby, Everett, 3.5-year-old. They got him the most adorable little pants and vest. What color are you using to stamp? The color that I used to stamp was I'll show it to you. It's the VersaFine Clair, and it's the Acorn. I really like that one. So the VersaFine Clair, and the color is Acorn. And I think I used that, on a lot of the cards that we're doing. All right, so there we have that. Now we have our word. And we are going to, I did use both of the words in here. One I used on this card. The other one I did the sympathy on the other card. So if you want to just go ahead and cut them both to whatever size you want while you're cutting that panel, go, feel free. Oops, I got a piece of... Or you can use whatever words you want. If somebody has a fall birthday and you want to do a birthday card, you can do that. You want to do a thank you card. You want to do one of the stamps that's on the stamp set, the other one. Is anybody out there that's in Florida? I'm just wondering how you're all doing. That was crazy, watching that over the last few days. So I'm hoping everybody is safe and made it through the storm. I know that we have some people on here, or that are normally on here, that are in Florida, so that's why I'm wondering how everyone's doing. And given that, the mail might be a little bit slower also in Florida. All right, so now I have that piece, and I'm going to trim this. So I did just attach this right onto my Mai Tai, and you have a big enough hunk that you could use it for your other card too, if you wanted to do your with sympathy and back it with the Mai Tai versus the orange. Oh, Grace is fine. That's good. They did lose power. Oof, that was crazy. So many people lost power. I hope it doesn't take too bad. It seemed like they had, were set up with linemen to get power restored as quickly as possible. But that is a lot of people, a lot of homes. So yeah, just pray everybody that's down there is okay. Where the tornadoes are. Okay, Ned and Virginia, your sister and family are safe. That's good. I did not know that's like that many tornadoes happened with a hurricane. Okay, so that, and then I am also going to trim this metallic, the bronze metallic. All right. So on the sample, I did lay the metallic down, and then I used foam tape to pop it up. And again, you can always do, you can always adjust my cards however you'd like. So I just give you the base of it, and you can kind of make it your own. Adjust things, use different words. Pop that one up. All right, one card is done. I must have used a different brown on that one. I don't remember which brown I used, but it doesn't pop as much as that one does. So I kind of like that one a little bit better. I'm going to set that one aside. Excuse me. Then we're going to go on to this one. Our last piece is, now again, originally when I was doing this card, I thought I was going to layer this one on there, but I didn't. I ended up just doing the cream on cream, and I did some embossed lines on there with my score pal. So, and then I did take this one and just back my words. So it does seem kind of a waste to use that whole panel for backing your words, but you could use that panel for other stuff too if you wanted. Or you could use the whole thing. You could use this extra piece and do that behind your words if you wanted. Which I think I might do that. I'm not going to use that whole panel. So it's up to you. Whatever you want. You use the pieces the way you want to use them. So, but I'm going to get my score pal out, because I did use my score pal to just emboss some lines. And that just adds a nice little touch, instead of just a plain panel. Just adding the little embossed lines. Okay, there we go. So right here, I don't know if you can see it. I know in the picture in your kit you could see the lines. And these I did embossed. Like you could do it the way with them poking up, like they're embossed, or what I have. Oh yeah, die cutting a piece. Yes, die cutting a piece from the center of here and then laying your layer on top of it. That's also a great trick, because then you can, use this piece to die cut, and then your panel's going to lay right on top of it, and you're not wasting a whole piece of paper for it. That's a great trick. So let's get my score pal out. Here it is. All right. So I did start, I put my paper in the horizontal way. And I started my first line, I believe, at a 1/2 inch. Yep. And then I did every 1/4 inch. And I did 6 lines. I know they say you're not supposed to do an even number. You're always supposed to do odd. So if you want to do odd, you do odd. You do you. So I started at a 1/2 inch, and then I did every 1/4 inch, which on my score pal it's 2 lines over. And I did 6 lines, but you can do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why did I do 6 lines? Because then I kind of had them a little bit above my words and a little bit below my words. So, and you can also do them where they're raised up, or you can do them where they're debossed down. Totally up to you. And I'm going to get my card out. And so, yeah, this is just a cream on cream. So if you want to do your layer, that's fine. And again, you can do embossed up or debossed down. The first one I did debossed. I think this one I'm going to do the embossed up. So whatever you want to do. This one I'm doing opposite of my sample. I always forget about doing that, but I really kind of like that effect. Wasn't sure how long I was going to need for this craft along, so I told Jennifer just, and I couldn't like speed it up. I just wasn't sure. So I just told her to allow an hour and 15 minutes, which is what she did. We might not need that amount of time. So now I'm going to put foam tape on both my words and my leaves, or my leaf. And I do have, if you see me reaching up, like I did pre-cut some foam tape. Yeah, Mona, yeah, that would, not knowing what's going on, and then with all the power out, not being able to get a hold of people, that has to be awful. All right. And you can put this at whatever angle you want it at, or place it wherever you want. I'm just going to kind of place that on there so then I know how far down I need to bring my stem. And again, if you have other words, you don't want to do a sympathy card. Sometimes, I think I was saying this in one of the last classes, I'll leave my sentiments off, because then I've always got it there that I can just add a sentiment to it, because it doesn't have to be a specific sentiment right away. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to need. Like today, family members were asking me, do you have a wedding card? And I'm like, and actually, you know what? I don't have that many wedding cards. So Leah's seen the wedding cards that I have. So, yeah. I should probably do some wedding and love-ish type cards coming up, because I don't have that many. So, okay, we're done with those 2 cards. Now we're going to move on. Let's move on to this one right away, because this one's a standalone one. This one we're, again, using the 2 pieces. So let's go on to the one that has the bronze background to it. So this is the one with the ribbon in it. And this one you could use, like I used the leaves from the set and the word. You could certainly use any leaves that you have, and any word that you have also. So in here we have our card, a gold mirror card layer, a Sahara layer, a piece of ivory, and then a piece of gold. So we're actually stamping the words in this one. And then the piece of ivory goes on the inside. So I'm just going to put this one right on the inside right away just to get it out of the way. Then I don't have to worry about dropping an ink pad on it or anything. And that's our layering swatch for the inside of our card. Now the gold and these pieces we can set aside. We're just going to do our brush blending, and we're going to do it this time on the Sahara, because then this layer will kind of pop off of there. That's why I just started, so we didn't have to brush blend the whole thing. I just kind of started with the Sahara, and we are going to brush blend yellow going over, but not all the way. You can see it kind of ends right around in here. So I do the whole thing yellow and get the yellow lighter and kind of stop right in this area. And then I did do some, orange and cranberry on there. So let's get going with our yellow. This is sometimes why I like big ones. And again, you're going to want to start off the edge and then bring your color over, but stop about right in there. And the Sahara is kind of a nice color because, it's not a stark stop. It kind of really gradients. gradients. Except watch your fingers. I got a little smooge right there. I hate that. And it's okay if you go a little bit past there, just do it really light. Okay, so now we're going to put our yellow away. Let's go on to our orange, and I'm going to pull my cranberry out again. And I could do my dark orange. I might have done my dark orange. I can't remember. I might have pulled the dark orange out of here. I should really write them on the back. See, when I use the little cubes, I tend to get my fingers dirtier. So I didn't do the whole thing orange, I just kind of did spots of it orange. I do like my little bit brighter orange too. Because I am going to fill that in with my cranberry. And keep your darker edges kind of, off on the edges. So yeah, you don't have to stick to these colors either. You can go on and do different colors if you want. You can add some browns in there. I'm going to get my cranberry out again. And you can go as dark or as light as you want. I know. That's what I was thinking. I don't want to be sick for the wedding, but I really think it's allergies, because that's what I get. I get like a cloggy type throat, and I did miss taking my allergy pills for a couple days. So I was like, ugh. I used to always say, I don't have allergies, but I really think I do. I've really come to that realization. I'm doing my yellow over the top of it again just to brighten it up a little. All right, I think I'm going to call that. And then what I did was I took all of the, or most of them, maybe all of them, I took all of the stamps and I laid them on a bigger block. Now, if you don't have a bigger block, that's okay. You can just stamp them one at a time. But what I did was I laid them on there, and then I could just stamp one time. I don't know, maybe I moved them around since I did that, because this doesn't look the same. Oh well, doesn't matter. Doesn't need to look the same. And then if I miss a little area, I could add one. But yeah, certainly if you have different size stamps and you want to just stamp one and then the next one, you can do that. With this set, I just took them, laid them all out, and then I'm stamping them all. Nessacort or singular? I can't remember. I think I have some type of allergy thing from Costco. I don't know what kind it is. So like I have a little spot right there, and I might take this one off. Because I don't feel terrible, I just kind of sound terrible. Okay, there we go. I did miss a little spot right there. I'm not going to worry about it though. It is what it is. Alright, now my word. I did use the same word that I used on the last one, so I have that out. And this hunk is a little bit, it's big enough that you could probably stamp 2 different words if you wanted. And again, if you don't have this exact stamp set, you can just use whatever word you want. Maybe you don't send autumn cards. Maybe you just want to make, you know, a birthday card or a thank you card. Now, sometimes the VersaFine Clairs, they stay wet depending on your cardstock. So just kind of be, you know, watch that. Some ink pads might stay wet. Don't smooch your hands across it. And now you're going to just trim that, and then you're going to attach it to the gold mirror card and trim that. When I brush blend, my fingers, see, now my fingernail polish is turning yellow and orange. I hope that comes off before the weekend. Because, yeah, they were more of like a nudish tone. Did you use brown to stamp the leaves? Yes, I did. I used the same brown. I used the VersaFine Clair. So I used the VersaFine Clair Acorn to stamp the leaves. You could use any brown. I really like that one. So now, I do like to attach this on here and then trim after, because then you don't have to measure. But if you're not confident in doing that, you can always just kind of hold it on there or measure it. I do kind of like lining up my 2 sides and then trimming. But you can do it whichever way you want. Especially if you're not sure if your autumn words are straight. because that way I only have 2 sides to trim. All right, now with the ribbon, you can put the orange up, or there's kind of more the mustardy, the goldish tone up. So whatever you want for that. I think I am going to go home tonight and have some like hot tea or something with honey in it and lemon. And then I did put adhesive on the back of my ribbon. Now, if you want to, your ribbon could go the other way. You know, that's why I gave it to you longer, so you could go vertical or horizontal. Totally up to you. If you want to tie it in a bow, you can tie it in a bow. I contemplated tying it in a bow, but bows aren't realistic for when you're sending stuff because they get crushed in the mail anyways. I still do, like if you ordered the set and you didn't get the leaves and you still want them, I still do have some left. So online they can only be ordered with the class kit, but if you already have the class kit and you don't want another class kit, just email me. Email's better than calling me because I'm not great at listening to my voicemails. And I can help you that way, and we can get you the stamps and or dies. So now we're just going to attach that on there. And then I'm going to use foam tape on there to just pop it up. Alright, we're going to pop up our words, and literally you can put those wherever you want them depending on what word you did, and then we're done with that card. I'm going to pause for a drink for a second. Charlie is doing good. They're all in there sleeping. It was actually Charlie's birthday today, and so Leo only had one party hat, so I actually went to the dollar store that's across the street and I got party hats, and we did end up getting all the dogs with their party hats on, and I got Charlie's kind of the bad one that gets into the garbage all the time, so I got him a bone that says I didn't do it, or a bone toy. And they all had their party hats on and they got treats. So, okay, now let's see. We are going to start out with the copper one first, because after we brush blend these leaves on there, we're going to use the part that we used as a stencil to make this card. So, you're going to start with this one. The one that has the words on it, that one we're going to set aside for now. And we have our envelope, we can set that aside. We have our copper scored card. we have our piece of cream that goes on the inside. Now this is our standard layering swatch size. So when I cut this one, I cut it a little bit bigger. You can see that. And our standard layering swatch size is the 3.75 by 5. So you have a 1/4 inch going all the way around. I've been doing different size borders in classes and stuff, so that one I did make a little bit bigger because then I could show you the difference. This is just a piece of cardstock that I cut. This is our standard layering swatch size for the inside of cards. And we can go ahead and attach that right to the inside to get it out of the way. I did take pictures, so I will post a picture of the puppy party later when I'm not live. But yes, I did take pictures of the puppy party. Now, actually, we do need to go into the other kit to get the stencil. Sorry about that. We do need to go into this kit, and you're just going to pull out this piece right here because we first used it as a stencil on this card. Now, we have our card, our gold mirror card, our glitter layer, those just layer. We have this piece that I die cut out of a oval. Then, because not everybody did get the stamps, and I didn't want to force you to get the stamps, so I did print the stamps. So you can use this one if you have the stamps and you want to, do them on here, and then you can take the stamps after we brush blend and stamp the stamps. Otherwise, you can take and just line that up, which I think I'm going to go the cheater route right now. Not the cheater route, but the route where if you didn't have the stamps. And you can line those two up, and we're just going to brush blend over the top of there. So, but that's what this extra piece is for, because you can take this, and maybe you want to do it twice, because then you'll have two of this piece. You'll have this one that you make and stamp, and then you'll have this one that's already pre-printed. But I'm just going to go with the pre-printed one. But you're going to want to hold these in place with some removable tape, just so they don't all move while you're doing it. So line them up as best as possible. And you're going to trim it down. So certainly if you want to put them in the corners, you're not going to, that's what I would do. I would match them up in the corners. Now this piece, if you were starting from scratch, is cut to your size. Where when we're doing it with the pre-printed one, we're going to have to cut it down after. So let's start. Now this is probably where a smaller blending brush would be better. So, and you can go ahead, you can start off the edge, because on our next card, we're using this top layer as this. So you are going to trim it down, but you can start off the side. So you really just need to fill in these, but for the next card, you're going to need it brush blended, anyways. So if you want to get more on the border, you can go all the way across if you want, because we're going to eventually be doing that. And yellow, when I'm doing autumn and I use yellow kind of as my base, that's okay, because then you can do the orange and the cranberry on top of it. And again, you're going to end up trimming this for the next card. So if you don't get it all the way over to the edges, that's okay. And if you want to just do your whole base of it as yellow, see, I did move my tape. I had my tape angled a lot, so I did move my tape just so So yeah, the puppies are staying in Appleton. The wedding is in Minnesota. So I have them tonight. They have a dog sitter. But yes, I sent John and Leah and John's mom pictures of our puppy party today. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of orange and then a little bit of cranberry. And now you might want to be a little bit more strategic, you know, so you don't cover the whole leaf up with orange. We could do that with the yellow, but with the orange you'll be a little bit more strategic. Here comes Charlie boy. He's looking at me like, who are you talking to? And the karate has pretty much stopped next door, so there aren't car doors going off, so he's not barking. Right, Charlie? But yeah, I think he's looking at me like, you know, are you crazy, lady? Just talking to yourself in there? All right. Now we're going to add our cranberry. So if we brush blend this, then we'll pretty much be done with our brush blending. I know I did brush blending during the warehouse sale classes, but for autumn, brush blending works great. And I might have covered a little bit too much up with the cranberry, but that's okay. No one's gonna see mine and see yours and then tell me I did it wrong. And I'm just again adding some yellow over the top. So now we could be done with our brush blending. So there we have our leaves. All right, so now we are going to trim those. So had we been doing it on a blank one like this, we would need to take the coordinating leaf. And for this one, you actually do need the exact leaf set that matches. So I did die cut like this piece right here that I made. I did die cut out with the leaves that are on here. So these are the little leaves that are in the die set. That's how I made that. And leaves are pretty specific. So with this one, if you have the stamp in the leaf set, you can use the blank one. You could have brush blended your leaves and then stamped, you know, individually stamped them over the top. But if you don't, then you could just use the pre-printed one. And I did use on my sample, which you can't see it here, I did use like a glitter pen, and I just kind of followed the veins of the leaves and added a little bit of glitter. And this is just one of those gold Stardust pens. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I just did it very quick. Just added just a little bit of sparkle to it. Now this one bled out a little bit. I must have been pushing really hard underneath there, because I have just a little bit of smearing right there. So maybe what I do is I use my words strategically right there. But anyways, so if you used the pre-printed ones, you do have to cut them down to this size, because this is the size that is layering on your copper. So you can, what size is this? This is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. Or you could just kind of lay that on top of there and decide where you want to cut it and cut that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull out my trimmer and just cut it down to 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. I'm going to trim this end off first. Then I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut, now on the sample, you can see that it's cut fairly close. Now this was my original one, so my leaves are slightly off. I did pretty good at angling them, but this angle is not exactly the same. Hang on a second, I got a tickle in my throat. He was looking for snacks. We have now moved all the garbage cans up to the very high, because Charlie is the king of getting in the garbage cans. This is one that I don't have the exact, like, how far off of each side. You're just going to have to kind of eyeball this one. Be a go for it kind of gal. So again, 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then everything should line up so you can just layer it. I did layer all of these flat. See, I don't like that leaf as much, and it doesn't matter. I can just put my words right up there. And I can put it off to the side, or I can put it more in the middle. So I'm going to use my adhesive and just attach these 3 layers together. Now, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we did an experiment of adhesives that stuck to the glitter paper. If you want it to stick and never come off, wet adhesive was, like, I think the best option. So the ATG sticks pretty good, but if I wanted to, eventually I could probably pop that off of there. I don't think it's going to fall off of there, but if I tried, I can get it off. Wet adhesive, I'm not a wet adhesive girl on big layers like this, but on the glitter paper, sometimes wet adhesive is what permanently sticks the best. Now I do like my wet adhesive now on, like, fine die cuts and stuff. So I layered that. This is cut to size. Decide where you want to put it. I'm going to cover up my one leaf. So I'm not going to put it as off to the side as this one is. Let's just say it's dealer's choice where you want to put it. Yeah, Charlie should have been named Oscar, that's for sure. He is a funny boy. So he is pretty, like, the dogs are not allowed up on the bed. At home they don't go on the bed. Unless it's just John. But, like, with Leah, she doesn't like them on the bed. So Charlie is very stealth. He, you know, I'll shoo him off the bed, but he, like, puts one paw up and another paw up and then does it so you can't tell that he's crawling up there. So I'll just wake up and then he stays at the foot of the bed. And he doesn't invade your space. So I'll just wake up and boom, he's there. Where Winnie, the boxer, she has to be sandwiched right up against you. She does not know the meaning of personal space, so if she makes the mistake and gets up on the bed, you know it. So it's funny. And they always ask, well, what happened? Did the dogs go on the bed? And sometimes if I let them on the bed, that's bad, because then they get used to it, and then they're like, oh, we're just going to try even more. They're kind of like kids. So, anyways, there we go. We have that autumn card. Now we're moving on to our last one. Which is this one, and we already did this piece when we did our leaves. Because when I was making this card, I was like, well, I could use this piece for something. So let's open up and see what we have in here. Of course, we have our envelope. Set that aside. We have our... Now this time I did natural felt. It's got a little bit of texture to it. So we have our layer, and I did our natural felt on natural felt. I did this piece on cream. So this is just on cream, and this is in case you don't have, the leaf stamps. I just printed 2 of them. One was in one kit, one was in the other. But this piece right here, and maybe I'll do that this time, where I'm going to stamp it. And I'm not going to use that piece this time. Now, in order to give you different words, because I do like to do that, that's why I gave you 3 different. So you're going to cut out whichever one you want. So maybe this one is so happy for you. Let's cut that one. So cut it close to the bottom, but then close, a little bit further away from the top, because then I'll show you what we can do. We will layer this flush right with that edge, and then the bottom piece of the Cuba Libre is going to cover that up. So it still looks like it's one piece of paper, just because we layered over that edge. So that was how I could give you different word options with, on one piece of paper. So decide which one you want to use and layer it flush to that bottom edge. Or if you wanted to, you could cut it closer and make it look like a layer. Totally up to you. But I'm going to take my layer, and I'm going to layer my... And you could stand it up on the paper, so then you can get it really flush to that edge. And then this does fit edge to edge on there. So we can lay this one right on the card right now as our card front. If you excuse me. All right, so there we go. Now the piece of cream that came with it right here is cut a little bit wider. So we are going to cut that down just slightly because it's the same width. So this is 2 inches and this is 2 inches. We're going to cut just a hair off of that so we can layer that. And then, so this piece we're going to cut to 1 7/8. This one you're going to cut slightly smaller. So cut this one to I'm going to say 1 3/4. Cut this one to 1 3/4. then this one you'll cut to 1 7/8 because it's going to fit on top of that brown. And this will fit on the brown too, except it'll fit a little bit inside of this. So cut your leaf piece to 1 7/8. Alright, so if this is cut to 1 7/8, see how this will layer with your little border of brown? Or you could cut it a little bit narrower. Mine is, I need a little bit more off of there. I want to see a little bit more of that brown. Hang on, I must have measured wrong the first time. Ooh, my stomach is growling. Whew. I don't know if you all could hear that. So more like actually the leaf one, cut to 1 3/4, and then if you can cut these both to 1 3/4 because this one's going to lay right on top of that one. And we also need to trim off the ends slightly because this is 5 1/2. Oh no, it's not. It's 5 1/4. It's 5 1/4. Sorry. So trim your leaves to 5 1/4 also. And then the piece that you're going to stamp on, trim that one to 5 1/4. I think I had a brain fart when I originally did that. I should have cut them to the right size to begin with. Anyways, sorry about that. So now, see how we have those, they kind of line up, and now we can take our leaves and stamp them right through there. So if you didn't get the stamp set with it, you can use the pre-printed one. You'll just need to cut it down. But otherwise, you can use the stamp set, which we have, and we can stamp our leaves right through there. Okay, there's one. Just kind of make sure it stays lined up. So you can attach it with removable tape if you want. I did pop them up with foam tape, so I don't want to attach it quite yet because I want to use foam tape to attach it. So if you want to use removable tape to hold it in place while you're stamping, you can do that. Okay. And if they're not perfect, it's okay. You know why? Because it's not Hallmark. If it was perfect, it would be Hallmark. But it wouldn't be as pretty, and it would cost you $10 a card. Okay, there we go. So yeah, if you have the stamp set, you can stamp your leaves. If you don't have the stamp set, you have them pre-printed. So whichever option you want to go with. So now I did use foam tape. So I did pop that up with foam tape. And whew, my stomach is really growling. I'm glad you guys can't hear that. Or maybe you can. I'm just going to put a little bit of foam tape. Now I've got some narrow edges, so you know, you might have to cut some narrow pieces of foam tape. I'm glad I told Jennifer an hour and 15 minutes because I think we started at 6:45, I think. So we're going to end pretty much right on time. And then I will get this airing on Saturday, starting at 9:45. Central Time, or 10:45 Eastern Time. And so then, if your kit didn't come yet, you can re-watch it. Alright, so we're going to peel the backing off. Oh, did I lose sound? Alright, well if I lost sound, I apologize. Can anybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me because Kathleen said she can't hear. Oh no, you can't hear my stomach growling. That's what can't hear it is. Okay. Phew! I thought that I lost sound and you couldn't hear me talking. Alright, so now I'm just going to line that up. Now I am going to attach my layer to the front of the card, and then I'm going to attach this layer to the front of that, and then we're going to call it a night. Or a day, if you're with me on Saturday. Yes, copper mirror card would have been very pretty too. All right, there we go. All right, so to wrap it up, we did our leaf overlay cards. We did these two using reverse, and then we did this one with just some heavy brush blending. So thanks for joining me for Crafter's Classroom for our set of autumn cards. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.